G'day everyone, welcome to this edition of DURKO's Notebook for the 2024 Australian Grand Prix. Just been in the Arvo here pouring some dead horse on my dog's eye. Anyway, I've got a lot to talk about. Pull up a pew, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. You wouldn't fucking read about it. So for the third race of this season, the F1 circus has returned to the Albert Park circuit, just on the outskirts of Melbourne City, and it will return next year to be the season opening race. And of course, Lewis Hamilton's first race for the Scuderia. So a bit of interesting discussion was had over a number of events over the course of the weekend. First one, of course, was Alex Albon, because he binned his car coming out of turn 6 into 7 and absolutely destroyed that car. They reckon about $500,000 worth of damage, split the gearbox in two, totally stuffed the chassis. Tub was a write-off, and they had no spare tub, of course. So James Vowles and his decision as the team principal made the call with advising to sponsors and key participants in the team to say that they were going to sideline Logan and put Alex into the car. Now, was it fair on Logan? No, it wasn't. Was it a reason done to advantage the team in some way? Yes, it was. And that was because Alex is the more experienced driver. More likely he's going to bring the car home in a point or some sort of points position, which sadly he didn't at the end of the race, but it was a roll of the dice the team had to make. So it wasn't fair, as people say. It's not fair on Logan. He's trying to fight for his career in F1, but you know, at the end of the day, they drive for a team and it's in the team's interests. That's why that call was made. Now, I'm probably going to get criticised here for this because I'm going to speak about an Aussie, a fellow Aussie. But in qualifying, Dan Ricciardo has again been shown up by Yuki Tsunoda. And I think the time's got to come. When does Laurent Meerts, the new team principal at RB, say, yep, look, Daniel's not performing to what we wanted. Yes, if you watch Drive to Survive and you go back to last year, where you turned up at Silverstone, did a hot lap and blitzed it and could have been on the front row with Max in the same machinery. But then he's turned up in this, RB car this year and the AlphaTauri last year. Sure, he broke his wrist, he had some setbacks. But, he's got experience, he's won a couple of races. So why is he not outperforming Yuki, yet Yuki's just absolutely, driving the skin off that car? So the question's going to be asked, how much longer are they going to keep Daniel Ricciardo in the team for? And if they get to the summer break, mid-season, are they going to sideline Dan like they did with Nick De Vries last year and put another driver in? Are they going to call Liam Lawson back? Because effectively, RB is the junior team. That's where they've got to scrutinise and start to build up the experience for the younger drivers. And Liam Lawson's the bloke that is champing at the bit to go. And I think it might call RB's got to take Dan out and put Liam in. It's the only way to go as far as I can see. So the race itself was interesting. Obviously, Max said he was driving around like the handbrake was locked on. His rear right absolutely cooked itself. And the cake tin was just completely disintegrated, stuffed. And a few laps later, Lewis went out. Now, it was interesting, some comments people at trackside said that when Lewis went past, even the formation lap into the opening couple of laps that he was going around, that his W15 sounded like a spastic camel the way it was running, and it was just completely out of tune. So obviously that engine was about, literally did detonate itself, just didn't blow up, but for some reason the power unit in that W15 took a leave of absence. Now Sauber, apparently for Japan, they're going to turn up with a new style of wheel nut, and they're going to use a rubber mallet to apply the wheel nuts because what they've been doing for the last 3 races just isn't working. As Ted Kravitz said, they were going to try a bit slightly longer pit stop of about 5 to 6 seconds so that the pressure wasn't on. But for some reason, they just keep threading wheel nuts. And it's just a problem that you think a team like Sauber, with all the years of experience and engineering background they've got, in all the categories of motorsport, they can't come up with a wheel nut that works for them. Now, the final incident, I originally thought it was a racing incident, but anyway, Fernando Alonso and George Russell coming into turn 6. Now, the way I saw it was, yes, they're going for position. Nando's in front of George. George has got himself in a position that he's in the dirty air right up the arse of that Aston Martin, and he's got no downforce on the front wing. So has he understeered off at a great rate of knots? Obviously, the telemetry has gone to the FIA. They've declared that he has brake tested George. George is going, oh shit, where do I go? Bang, I'm off. I thought it was fair to say it was a racing incident because there was no actual contact between them, but, you know, the powers that be, the stewards, have decided they've got the data that we don't have access to, of course, to simply say that, yes, Nando did brake check him, and that's the reason he went off, and got a 20-second drive-through penalty for it. So that pushed him down a few points. The team lost a few points. And then obviously Carlos went on to win the race under the yellow flag. So I just want to talk about Carlos. Obviously he's going to be the talking point for the rest of the season as to where he's going to go next year, because as you said, you know, I've proven myself. Here's my resume. I just don't have a seat for next year. I don't have a job. I'm looking for a job. Now, the thing is, Toto Wolff was interviewed by Fox, and he said that he's looking at several drivers, obviously experienced drivers. Maybe it's too soon to bring Antonelli in, but I don't see, if they don't bring Chico back at Red Bull and keep Max till 2028 as is rumoured, I can't see Carlos going back to Red Bull into the main team because he doesn't get on with Max at all. I think he may go to Aston Martin. I don't think Nando's done himself any favours of trying to get a seat at Mercedes next year. So, bugger if I know what's going to happen, but I can see it that potentially Nando could go to Red Bull and Carlos could go to Merc, because he's proven himself that he can deliver under pressure, especially coming back 2 weeks after having his appendix ripped out. He's really put himself on the driver market, and that's what Toto will be looking for, as a driver like that can do that. And you've got to remember, Charles Leclerc is the prodigal son, not Carlos, because obviously they haven't renewed his contract. So that was it. Overall, not the most exciting race. There was no real wheel-to-wheel clashes. The reason I didn't go this year, obviously, I think, for me personally, the ticketing system is an absolute farce. It is a joke. The accommodation's outpriced most people out of category of getting anything comfortable for decent money. And it's just overcrowded. There's just too many people there. I know, yes, it's a spectacle, it's a sport. You're going to see the cars live, whatever. But there's just too many people there. It's just become insane, the numbers of people, as I was witness to last year, and this year, even more crowd. Yep, more numbers. It's just got too big for itself as the Australian Grand Prix. That's my thoughts. So one final comment was, and I agree with what Tim Smith here said to me, I don't know if anyone noticed the new Sky Sports studio that they've come up with for the next few races, because they're not flying half the commentary team out. But they've gone to this studio with this virtually integrated floor that's like a big TV screen. They've got the panoramic shit going on around them. Like, it's almost like the stock exchange. You can see the NASDAQ prices going around, and they just flash everything up at the screens, and then you've got the crew standing there on top of these screens, walking all over this screen, pointing shit out. And as Tim Smith said, it's like watching election night for a US president. And I think, I'm not a fan of it. I think they could just go back to something more simple. If they're not going to fly the commentary team out, just put them at a desk with a screen behind them. That's all you need. That's what most commentary sports shows do these days, is just have people sitting around a big desk with a TV. There's this interactive shit in this big studio. I don't think it's the go. Anyway, that's my view. So I want to say well done to Carlos, great drive, good result for Ferrari 1-2, and let's see what they can do in 2 weeks' time in Japan, and especially see what Yuki can do in his home race if he can get some more points for the RBs. That'll be a great result for little Yuki. And him trying to stamp his place into a seat next year as well, because he's off contract. So we'll see what he can do with Japan. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.